In this video, we're going to talk about the ancient concept of ethos. Firstly, we're going to talk about what ethos actually is. Then we'll talk about how you can apply it to build trust rapidly in any communication challenge, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or speaking to a large audience. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we will talk about the dark side of ethos, the potential pitfalls that await you if you launch in unaware, and of course, how to avoid them. For those of you who are new here, my name is Hayden Richards and I'm an emergency physician, and this is the Comms Lab. On this channel, I share my journey and what I've learned as I strive to develop myself into an effective communicator and an emotionally intelligent leader. So recently I've been studying and learning how to apply the three ancient concepts of ethos, pathos, and logos. These three ideas, known as the three appeals to rhetoric, were developed by Aristotle almost 2,500 years ago, specifically as tools of persuasion for public speakers. But I've been playing with them in a whole variety of different communication challenges, and I've been amazed at how useful they've been, whether it's in a one-on-one conversation, in leading a team, or in doing a presentation in front of a large audience. Today, we're going to focus in on ethos. So, what is ethos? A lot of people equate ethos to ethics, but it actually has a much broader meaning than that. Ethos refers to the degree to which others perceive you to be credible, qualified, and competent. Now, that's not to say that ethics doesn't come into it. And the reason that that is the case is that your ethics contribute to your reputation. The saying goes that your reputation precedes you, and it really does. If someone has heard something about you from someone else before you've even met them, that is going to heavily influence their impression of you. That's why ethics are important. If you behave in a consistently ethical way over time, you'll develop a reputation for that. And in turn, that will make people more likely to trust you. Similarly, if you put in work to become genuinely competent at what you do, that will also contribute to your reputation as a capable person. But what if you're interacting with a person or an audience that doesn't know you from a bar of soap? How will they gauge your credibility? The answer is that they'll take their clues, perhaps subconsciously, from your appearance, your tone, your body language, and the way you introduce yourself. Just as an example, it's for this reason that in the last couple of years, I've actually started paying for my haircuts. Prior to that, I would just shave it off myself once a year at the start of summer. And I can tell you that by the time summer rolled around each year, I was looking pretty scruffy. I have to admit, it does look a little more professional when someone else does it. Someone who's been trained to do it. It's also why I introduce myself as a senior doctor when I meet a new patient.
Hi, my name's Hayden Richards. I'm one of the senior doctors.
And when I'm speaking to an audience, I'll give a quick rundown of my qualifications and the experience that I have right at the start. For years, I was kind of against this because I thought of it as a little bit vain and self-aggrandizing. But now I've actually come to see it as a way of rapidly building trust. So be a good person, build your skills, and take care with your appearance and the way that you introduce yourself. If that's all there is to ethos, then we're all good, yeah? I wish it were that simple. You see, it seems to me that ethos has a dark side too. One of the ways I see ethos go bad is when people try too hard to exhibit their competence. Classic example here is the excessive use of jargon. They intentionally use long or complicated words so that they sound qualified.
Now what you have here is, of course, a disequilibrium of an ultrastratified gubernaculum, which of course means that we'll have to initiate treatment with cunawara-buzimab immediately.
Now, funnily enough, there is research that shows that this actually does work. Oh gosh, you sound smart.
I'm in your hands, doctor.
Many people do kind of trust experts who bombard them with fancy words. The problem is that when it comes to actually implementing the plan, whatever that is, you risk losing them because they never understood it in the first place. People who have a high level of understanding for their subject matter can convey self-assurance and competence naturally through their tone, their body language, and their ability to present the information in a flexible way.
That's a great question. Let me explain.
It's more dependent on the other person's level of understanding and really tailored to that. They don't have to use jargon. A second big pitfall of ethos occurs when people become overly identified with their sense of competence. I've seen this kind of expert mindset lead to closed thinking and a failure to identify better solutions to a given problem.
You have to be joking. That's not how we do it.
It can also be a real disaster when someone is unwilling to admit when they don't know something, or even sort of take ownership when they've made a mistake. A third big pitfall of ethos is that ultimately credibility is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. Something that might engender a high level of trust for one person, for example, the fact that I'm a doctor,
I'm in your hands, Doctor.
may actually cause distrust in someone else if, say, they've had a bad experience with a doctor in the past.
Get away from me!
Or if they come from a culture where Western medicine is regarded with suspicion. That's why it would be crazy to think that ethos is the only tool you need in your trust building toolkit. And that's why you need to watch this next video on PATHOS, Aristotle's second pillar. Or if you'd rather see an overview of the three concepts altogether and how I actually apply them, then you should check out this one. Either way, thanks for watching, and I will see you there.